Oh, all right. So I had a recommendation from Christian Dissident to do a video called Gulag 2.0. Russia wants to. Oh shit! I'm sorry. It's taking its time. Okay. Anytime. Oh, there we go. Okay. Russia wants to resurrect forced labor camps. So let's get into this and see what we can talk about, huh?
Greetings, comrades. You know, the video on this topic was long overdue, and of course I should have made it maybe last year, but I didn't really want to. After all, labor camps are far from the most pleasant page in the history of my country, and talking about them is not very enjoyable. To be honest, I did not want to make a video on this topic at all. But recently, one thing has happened that forced me to make this video. What was it? Alexander Kalashnikov, head of the Russian Federal Penitentiary Service,
Too easy. Too easy to make a comment. Too easy.
declared the need to revive labor camps for prisoners in Russia.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. They really want to restore those very same forced labor camps in Russia. Those very same Gulag camps. This is not an April Fool's joke, not a clickbait and not some fake news. These are the words of the head of the federal agency. Let's discuss this.
All right.
In the modern world, could anyone even come up with this idea? Were labor camps so effective in the USSR?
Well, I mean, you could say it's like Marx, where, basically history is at first a tragedy and then a farce. You could say it like that, depending on, how you feel about this. But also, it's just kind of show that Russia really doesn't have that many ideas. They're just like, let's recycle stuff from the Soviet Union. What the hell? Why not? We're going to still have it under our capitalist sort of, system that we have, but, what the hell?
So let us begin with a brief explanation of this, of course, shocking information. Where in the world did the officials get such an idea? We live in a modern society. We are kind of an European state. If you look at our neighbors, a psychopath who murdered 70 children is living in comfortable conditions, rolling around on his soft bed and playing new PlayStation exclusives all day long. How in such a world could the idea of reviving the hard forced labor of prisoners arise? The moral side of the question aside, there really is some logic to it. According to the head of the Federal Penitentiary Service, there are 482,000 people in Russian prisons who have the right to participate in the labor market.
All right.
And another one.
I don't really, like I say, I'm going to wait to actually give an argument on this. This isn't just like typical, oh man, right out the gate, they're wrong. I'm going to wait and give an actual argument.
188,000 people who are sentenced to prison labor.
Okay.
And also hundreds of thousands of people who want to work but don't have such opportunity.
Okay.
All of them, according to the head of the Federal Penitentiary Service, can be sent to the large industrial facilities where there is a shortage of manpower. Also, according to him, it is possible to recruit convicts in areas where previously mostly migrant workers were employed. Because of the pandemic, foreigners cannot come to Russia easily nowadays, so there's a huge shortage in these areas. It will not be a gulag. There will be completely new, decent conditions, because this person will be working within the framework of a dormitory or renting an apartment, maybe together with his family if he wants to, getting a decent wage, Kalashnikov said.
And there's a lot of ifs and words there. Decent wage, decent living, maybe live with their family. There's a lot of maybes there. The thing is that I was going to wait, but I'll just go ahead and say it here, is you would have to do an immense screening process. Much like the same way in the United States. It's not like you were going to put Jeffrey Dahmer out, working a chain gang or something like that, or, being able to, clean up a park or something like that, similar to what we do in the U.S. Like I say, I'm not familiar. It's different from state to state. It's different from county to county. It's a matter of opinion. But, I have seen, even where I live, that you will see convicts, I imagine, who are, lower in terms of maybe they're close to getting released or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure the criteria, but I imagine this, like I say, there's a lot of holes already. But let's continue. Okay.
In his opinion, if we build dormitories for prisoners, for example, in the Magadan region, it will solve several problems at once. The population of the region will increase, the socialization of convicts will occur, and the problem of labor shortage will be solved. This point of view was already supported by the Speaker of the State Duma, Vyacheslav Volodin. He noted that prisoners should be sent to work only with their consent. But I immediately have several questions. First is about the voluntariness of this activity. Let's be honest. You find yourself in prison, whether in Russia, in US or in Uruguay, your amount of rights is drastically reduced. And the voluntariness of prison labor here is arbitrary. If the prison authorities order you to go and build that building over there, you will get stopped and if you don't want your life to turn into hell. Let's be honest, life in some Russian prisons is already reminiscent of the good old Soviet Gulag. In some places, torture is practiced, in other places prisoners are fed with meals of questionable quality, and well, there also is a forced labor of prisoners for which they are barely getting paid. In fact, all these attributes of the classic forced labor camps are already there, but formally they're being dealt with. But now the government wants to legalize it and even present it as a good thing for the prisoners themselves. In reality, it will result in the most brutal exploitation of the prisoners and the embezzlement of the money that will be allocated from the budget for the construction of the infrastructure for the labor camps. And
to be honest with you, this is no different than the US. I mean,
arrangement of the convicts. There will be no normal conditions for prisoners to live and work. Now to other questions. Let's take the same Magadan region as an example. Mr. Kalashnikov says that it will be a good idea to increase the population of the region with some new workers.
Okay.
But there is actually a problem with in that region. Other prisoners brought there a better quality workforce than the residents of the Magadan region themselves. The residents of this region agree to have their population increased by bringing in such valuable human resources. Questions also how exactly the famous prisoners will live with them in these labor camps. That is, in fact, the families of prisoners will have to voluntarily live in prison conditions. I really doubt that many will agree to this. Finally, they say that prisoners can be used to replace migrant workers to leave Russia because of the pandemic. It is true that such a problem exists. There were millions of migrants working in Russia, mostly from Central Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. Most of them were working in low-paying jobs as laborers, construction workers, road workers, street food vendors, cleaners, and janitors. Some of them have left Russia and their place must be filled by someone else. But, guys, maybe I don't want a dude convicted of armed robbery or murder cleaning my yard instead of a friendly Tajik. What will
okay, let's be careful here. Okay, so the thing is, it's just, to me, honestly, beyond my LARPing or anything else, this is damned if you are, damned if you aren't. In the sense that, okay, you don't want, like I say, this may be more, maybe I'm being too SJWS, but I'll say it nonetheless, is, okay, so you're either going to have native folks who happen to be in jail who are now working these various jobs and whatnot, as opposed to someone someone who comes from Tajikistan, this and that, a friendly Tajik. I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things of, they took our jabs, and then it's really, okay. The thing is that I'm trying to be very delicate about this, not just be, the thing is, when you have foreign folks come into your country, this and that, and the thing is, it's very detrimental for them because ultimately they can't find work in their home country, so they send that money back home. Okay, like I say, yeah, this is a very tough situation. The thing is, though, with this, to allow prisoners to do jobs like this, I mean, number one, you would have to, like I said before, is you would have to screen the hell out of them, and to make sure that they weren't violent, this and that, and that you wouldn't have them go around killing folks, this and that. This is, man, I would have to honestly say this is one of those damned if you are, damned if you aren't type of things, because yeah, I think this guy does have a point where it's like, yeah, the system is still corrupt, and whether it's to a point or whether it's the U.S. or, like I say, it's a very difficult. This is a very difficult situation to really understand. So you know what? I'm gonna give my takes at the end of this. That way I can see it. I have seen this through once, but I will watch it through one more time, and then I will give you my takes on it.
What were they thinking of when they came up with this initiative? That show that more than 60% of the current inmates end up behind the bars for at least the second time. Do you really want to put all of these people on the streets of the cities to work for the benefit of our society? Let me remind you that in the 1920s and 30s, when the great construction projects of socialism were being created and cheap labor was needed, the Soviet newspapers wrote about the creation of labor camps as about a great victory for humanism and the education of a new kind of man. It was said that the lost souls would be able to rethink their life choices and start a new career for the good of the motherland in these labor camps. Everything was presented through this rose-colored propaganda glass. It seems that the state-run media decided not to change their methods this time either. What struck me the most was the article in RIA Novosti. The journalist Victoria Nikiforova described forced labor Soviet camps with social elevator for hundreds of thousands of ordinary people. The punishments camps became, in the Soviet years, a ticket to a new life for criminals. According to her article, the peasants received a high-paying job specialty, food, some kind of medical care, warm housing, medical care, Gulag. Modern journalism, ladies and gentlemen. There's also lots of whataboutism about US and therefore remind you that 1.6 million people died in the social elevator during the 25.
Okay. I'm gonna have to sound like a tinky here. I'm really trying to be good faith here and not just simply go down this route. The thing is, though, is that it depends on who you listen to. It depends on what documents and what research, quote unquote, you have done. 1.6 million compared to the how big of a population were the folks that went to gulags. Most people, were freed from the gulag fairly quickly. Like I said, this is, like I say, I'm really torn here, to be honest with you. I am legitimately torn, but let's continue.
Years of its existence, according to official data. Official. Feel free to multiply the numbers by 2 or 3 at least. That is, in fact, this social elevator had only 2 directions. In the first case, you get out of it a completely broken man with severe diseases. And in the second case, you remain forever in some unmarked grave somewhere in the Magadan region. And yes, to find a job in the Soviet Union after the release from the prison camps was practically impossible. You became not even a second-class citizen, but a third-class.
Well, the thing is, the gulags were stretched across the country. They included, German prisoners of war, which in general be honest, the German prisoners of war were treated better than the Soviet ones were. The Soviet ones were sent, were spent, a lot of their years maybe languishing, possibly being forced in like the Vlasov army. You can, like I said, I'm trying to be good faith here. I really am. You also had folks that, like I said, there were Soviet, POWs that were being used as forced labor, even in, as far, even into the Jersey Islands, of the British Isles. So, like I say, I'm really trying to be good faith here, but I think that this is something that it sounds like this is just the way it goes, and just hope that you don't end up this way. Like I say, I really don't know. This sounds very lib, though. It's just like, well, just allow the folks to come in. It's just like, the thing is, Russia has to maintain an idea that it is a strong traditional country, that they are a strong nation. They don't want to have the fact that they have migrants coming into their country. They don't want to appear to be like the U.S. So the thing is that, you know what? I'll be honest. I think his whole talk about migrants, it's like migrants will still come in to Russia, and the prisoners will be treated this way. Like I say, so this doesn't solve the problems, really. This is just a way to make money. So it really doesn't solve anything.
Maybe this social elevator was so effective for the Soviet Union that such losses can simply be ignored. So the subject of forced labor camps will be continued for me. In about a week there will be a new video on this channel, where we are going to dive into the atmosphere of the labor camps of the USSR times, and try to find out, was it really an effective method for the accelerated development of the country? Or was it a hell on earth where innocent people suffered? Or maybe it was both?
Okay. So I want to look at this guy's background a little bit, because I feel like there's a little bit of misplaced idea. I want to get an idea of who in the world this guy is before I make some real hard judgments, just to see. I don't have anything against this guy. I know. Oh man, it's gonna take forever. Okay, Satarko. All right. Let's see. Here. It is Russia, my comrades. Okay. Let's see what else he's got here. So Gulag 2.0, Women of World War II. Yeah. Best pioneer movement in the USSR, how young Soviets were. Okay. How Russian state media. I still don't care for him. Sorry. I still think he's cringe. Yeah. Yeltsin, hard boss. Khrushchevka. Yeah. Typically, yeah. Or Khrushchevka. Those were notoriously bad. The ones under Stalin were built better. Belarus, still going on, still no results. Riots, revolution. Okay, so this guy seems kind of, yeah, he's kind of on the edge of being a lib, isn't he? He's very much a lib. Yeah, weird Russian news. Yeah. Okay, so he's one of these type of dudes. Okay. Brezhnevka, Soviet panel building that defined. I'll go ahead and watch that too. But yeah, that's something else. Collapse of Soviet Union, why it was inevitable. Yeah. So he's using a lot of different. Yes. Yeah. I feel like this guy is kind of a lib in some ways. Like I say, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting somewhat soft, but I feel like this is somewhat lib, what he's talking about here. I'm going to watch these separately, but let's see what he has to say. Okay. From Mother Russia, if you're looking to learn some interesting and weird information about Russia, then you came to the right place. See, the thing is, what I've noticed too, I'll be honest with you, when someone sent me a link or something like that for this, for that Russian gal, I can't think of her name, who lives way out in like Spask or something like that. The thing is that she said, she wants to remain in. You know, just because she, you know, yeah, she was somewhat poisoned by, you know, American nonsense. Yeah, but oh man, I don't know. I'm really trying not to seem like a. Honestly, I feel like he just kind of promoting lib stuff. Really, it's like, well, you know, migrants are actually okay. It's like, yeah, this is one of those that there's no winners here. There really aren't, and I guess he can go ahead and make his video log, but I have a feeling is that he's trying to play to a certain audience, and then kind of he's being very subtle in his liberal views. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about it. So you can take your own judgments from it. I didn't really have much to say about this, so but I do appreciate Christian Dissident for sending me this video to review. So I hope you all enjoyed this. So see you later, and goodbye.